Billboard came out with a top 50. I don't know how they came out with this list, but they came out with the top 50 rappers of all time. And it caused a little brouhaha because Ja Rule was not on this list. And Ja Rule was not happy because he was like, what? There ain't no rappers, 50 rappers dead or alive that could romp with me like that. Why am I not on this list? And I would have to agree with him. Ja got hits, and Ja is not on this list. So let's go through the list, brothers. Shall we?
Drop.
You want to start from number 50? Let's start from number 50.
Oh.
Rick Ross, Rev Run, Melly Mel, MC Light,
Yep.
Jadakiss, Ice-T.
Jadakiss is 47 or 46 on that list?
Yep.
46.
Yep.
It's disrespectful. This list is disrespectful. Now, because it didn't say that it was in a particular order, but
I would think so. If Jay is at
they put Jay at number 1, so
spot.
clearly it's in a particular order. Jadakiss, Ice-T, Queen Latifah, Bun B, Redman, E40, Dr. Dre.
Niggas I didn't even know they put E40 on this list. First of all, Dr. Dre gotta go. E40 gotta go.
I said that.
Ludacris, Gucci Mane, Common, Mos Def, Future, Chuck D, Busta Bus, T.I., Lil Kim, Lauryn Hill, Pusha T, Black Thought, Q-Tip, Big Pun, Meth, KRS, Curtis Blow, Ghostface Killer, DMX, Kane, Missy Elliott, Ice Cube, 50 Cent, Scarface, J. Cole, LL, Rakim, who like my stories, Andre 3000, Kanye West, Nicki Minaj, Snoop Dogg, Drake, Lil Wayne, Biggie Smalls is the illest, Eminem, Tupac, Nas, Kendrick Lamar, and Jay-Z. What say ye?
List is terrible. For nobody if nobody knows, Nas is number 1 on my list, so I'm not really concerned about that. Kendrick Lamar is not number 2 on my list. But I did read something. I think that, I guess to some degree, gave some insight into why this list was made like this or whatever. But it was more so about Jay-Z, and I kind of just tried to apply this to everybody. But
Please
if you apply this to everybody, then so they said from Jay-Z's 24 Grammys, 14 number ones, and 140 million record sales, the publication's editorial team argued that his longevity, the breadth of his accomplishments, and what he's meant to hip-hop from a musical, cultural, and financial standpoint for the last 3 decades is what makes him the greatest of all time. And I took that explanation and said, so then how do you leave Ja Rule off this list?
Yeah, because now I'm thinking Ja got mad awards too.
Sold mad records too.
Yeah.
I don't know if he sold 140 mil, but
And Eminem was like what, number 3 or 4?
M was 5.
I don't know.
I feel like it was a boardroom, just a bunch of white people on Billboard, and they closed their eyes. Just like, think of the first 50 black people that you could think of. Put them on
You
the
put
list.
Andre 3000, but not Big Boy. You put Rev Run, but not DMC.
My thing is, at least
Q-Tip, but not Fife.
but not 5. It's backwards. But my thing is, just as a culture, I think we need to stop looking for, I don't want to even say validation, but just stop looking to entities and individuals that are not part of the culture and that don't know the culture
for them to solidify our standing in anything.
because they're not informed.
This
They
list,
don't know the temperature outside.
This list sucks balls.
No, facts, but these are also the niggas who give the awards and whose ratings matter. Which is the
because
part.
you have the Billboard Awards. Obviously, they give awards, and obviously these are the people that go and they accept the awards. Grammys, everybody wants to get a Grammy.
But that's the thing. That's the thing too, right? So
and we look for validation from these people, unfortunately.
Right. So you have people like Drake who share the sentiments that are aware of just how backwards these groups of people and these businesses are, like the Grammys. And you know what I'm saying? They're boycotting the Grammys and, you know, saying that it doesn't really matter. But at the same time, they're saying those things. But if you were now nominated for a Grammy or up for a Grammy, the tone changes. Now it's just like, this is a prestigious award. You know what I'm saying? When in reality, it's just like, if the perception is that the Grammys has just always been tone deaf and not a part of the culture, why are we still
looking for validation
from them when they're not a part of the culture?
Because think about it. How many people on that list do you know actually still go to that are still with us, still go to the NAACP awards, still go to the BET awards?
Right.
Even though BET is now owned, obviously, by Viacom, but still go to the awards that we are.
Soul Train Awards.
Soul Train Awards. How many of us still go there? Let's be real. And the only person on this list that is not Black is Eminem.
Is M. Where? But that goes back to the start of the conversation. This is our culture and our baby, but we have very little ownership over it. So naturally, you know what I'm saying, we're going to be looking to other people to validate it, essentially.
I mean, we used to have the Source Awards.
I don't know if people. Oh, my bad. Okay.
No, I mean that stopped. We don't have that anymore.
Dancing all in the videos.
Yeah. You see how that,
I think when people get to a certain point, I guess they feel like, I remember well, Chris, I'm going to assume you might remember this too, but like, I remember when the MTV Music Awards used to matter. Like, getting that little gold popcorn joint, it was just like
the Moon Man
word. Like, now they'd be like, the MTV Music Awards come on now, I'd be missing. I don't even know if that joint still come on, but when I've seen it in recent years, it's just like, whatever. Like, I don't even.
Well, that's because we don't really focus now on videos. Like MTV Music Awards was big because there was a time when we used to love looking at videos. Now, the only time when we really look at videos is when we're looking at YouTube, or because we don't have like 106 in Park like that anymore, or TRL. Right. You know what I'm saying? So we're not really looking at music videos like that anymore. But like when Thriller came out, or when like Miss You Much or Rhythm Nation came out, like when those videos came out, we were just like, oh my. When I Can't Stand the Rain, when Missy Elliott Super Duper Fly came out, we was like, oh my God. Or when that's the video with Bus and Janet Jackson, what's that
What's It Gonna Be?
What's It Gonna Be came out, we were just like, oh my God, this video everybody was like mad hyped to see the video drop. That was when, MTV Awards and stuff like that was like hot. When Sexy Back with Justin Timberlake came out, everybody wanted to see that, but now music videos aren't really like the thing.
Which is also part of why
social media.
Music has declined. There
Because
used to be
nothing's
a
memorable anymore.
requirement. There was a requirement. Like, yo, we got to put out a good video. Like, your song could suck, but a good video could save it.
But now you have the TikTok era where you have to capture somebody's thoughts or brain within like 15 seconds. And if you don't get that, then you're done. So like a whole music video, you can't even have a song that lasts more than 3 minutes. So you want them to watch a whole video?
I mean, that's just a product of the time that we're in, right? People's attention spans suck, right? Just all across the board. So now when it comes to music, on top of that, it's people's attention spans suck. And on top of that, you literally have, I think the statistic is, I think somewhere around 2 million people making music every day or something like that. It's ridiculous. Never in history has this influx of quote unquote artists, you know what I'm saying, been this intensive.
Everybody is an artist now.
To your point, Ma, where everybody's an artist now, it's just not whitewashes, but waters down the artistry of whatever art form you're in. Take, for example, photography. Social media blew that to pieces because before, you know what I'm saying, only a select few people had a camera, knew how to work a professional camera. Now, everybody and their moms is either picking up a camera or picking up their phone,
thinking they photographer,
putting a filter on it, and be like, this is it. You know what I'm saying? Which now makes the people that actually put the work in and actually have software and actually, you know, went to school for, you know, composition and, you know what I'm saying, that actually took these steps to perfect their craft. And that goes for music, you know, that goes for painting. It is all these different things that now, because of the influx and access to these things that people have now, it's not the same anymore. And
it's such a saturation of
100%.
just everything.
That's the word for it. Oversaturated. 100%.
That's
100%.
true. What I'll say to that is, I feel like, and I believe I belong to this group. I feel like I want to belong to this group that I'm kind of going to talk about. Like, I want to be that person that it's like, with all that extra stuff out there, it's like, based on what you see me decide to do or follow or whatever, it's like, okay, this person has not necessarily a good eye, but this person wants quality. So it's like how you're talking about, like, the people who take photography, who take pictures and all this other stuff. Like, if it's, as an example, if somebody's just like, oh, let me see, you know, like, oh, who's he following or whatever the case might be, you know, that are people that take pictures. I want you to see, like, okay, there's a different level of quality in these photographs, you know, with the people who he follows or the music who he listens to, whatever the case may be, versus like the nonsense. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want people to notice, like, okay, he distinguishes himself, or they distinguish themselves. They distinguish themselves. That's funny. Just popped in my head real quick.
There's a distinction.
There's a distinction. You know what I'm saying? And you know what I'm saying? His choices versus the masses. You know what I'm saying? So just being able to weed out the nonsense is just like, I feel like that's what people did back in the day. You know what I'm saying? Like, people are going to rap, people are going to draw, sing, and do whatever, but it's just like, everybody ain't making it. I feel like you still have to use that same type of, I don't know, just weeding out process, just like, no, so we ain't accepting all this other stuff. Yeah, I get it. Filters are nice and all that other stuff. But, you know what I'm saying, shout out to the people using, you know, real cameras and DSLRs and all that extra stuff, and, you know, going above and beyond with their pictures. Like, I just feel like, in a good way, it requires you to, you know, be better. You know what I'm saying? So it can push people forward in a good way. But then I think the tough part is there's so much nonsense that I feel like people don't actually want to go through 100 to get to 101.
Exactly. Very little discernment. I mean, to your point though, I feel like who's supposed to see what you're doing is gonna see it in terms of the audience that you're marketing to. Like, for example, in rap, a lot of people will say, today's rap is trash. Nobody's saying nothing. You know what I'm saying? Music today or hip hop is dead or whatever the case may be. But case in point, when the Locks did that, the verses, you felt what that art form really is about when they performed.
Yeah, facts.
Because you can now see the distinction between what is and what really isn't. Because we've been, bogged down with nonsense for last 5, 6, 7, 8 years, people have lost touch with what real hip hop is or what, the art form is really about. So this genuine, art form is still exists, but like Noe said, to get to that point, you got to sift through so much garbage that at that point you're just fatigued. You don't feel like doing that joint no more. So now you just relegate to, saying that hip hop is dead and X, Y, and Z because of the oversaturation.
Facts. Because Banana Fafana was not cutting it at that versus. The computers wasn't puting. Which to me, it's actually weird to some degree, because it's like, I'm kind of looking at it. I'm like, I wonder, so like, people responded to the verses in such a way, but then it's like they'll go back to like the trash music, and it's just like, how are you respond? Like, how do you get up and you're just like, yo, these dudes just put on a show for hip hop, and then it's like, we're going back to this, like, what's happening? Like, where's the disconnect? Like, even as another example, like when I go to Chris's page and I look at his pictures, they look very different.
Oh, thanks, man.
From regular people who take photos.
Yeah, you can definitely tell that he puts a little work into his stuff. A little adobo. He puts a little adobo in Laurie's.
Laurie's.
Put a little Laurie's.
I feel like I low-key thought the verses might have been able to fix some of this stuff, because
I thought
like just the responses they would get from people, it was just like, yo, this is music and this is this, like, look at the difference in this. Because the amount of people who went going into that verse was like, yeah, these dudes don't stand a chance against Dipset. And then to see the way that played out, I mean, good Lord.
So the question is, can you be a part of the life or the industry without succumbing to demonic warfare?
I think it depends on what you want out of the industry, because there's going to become a point where you're met with that entity or, whatever you come across that's going to be the deciding factor as to whether or not you want to be here or you want to stick with, your guns. You know what I'm saying? Because every artist that came in, or let me not say every, most artists that came into the industry had their own personal shtick.
Mm-hmm.
And then once the powers that be got a hold of them, they transposed them into something else to fit a mold,
Mm-hmm.
and then turn them into something else. That's, from what I gather, what happened to Ja Rule. Ja Rule wasn't a thug.
Hardcore rapper, but he's glossy.
He got turned into that once he got with Irv. Now he wasn't turned into a thug, but they turned him into that personality to, you know what I'm saying, go forth with whatever they had going on at the time with Murder Inc. But needless to say, if you just making music to make music and you putting it out and people support it, that's one thing. But if you want the fame, you know what I'm saying, all the extra stuff, then I feel like that's when you come into contact with that power structure. Because there's a lot of people that made music that, you know what I'm saying.
Okay, let's take it out of music. Let's take it just solely into entertainment. The entertainment business, period. What we do is entertainment, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so as the channel progresses and as we grow as a brand, what say ye? What are you saying? Because then that would also apply to us.
100. I mean, it's the same thing, right? There's really no no individual or business that has gotten or that's at this like multi-million-dollar level by kind of sticking to what they originally set out to do. You know what I'm saying? The path changes once
Once you get
the
well, no level is not met with a new devil. That's number one.
what's the bar?
I can't. As Keith says, whenever you go to meetings or ever you go to events, none of us can go in the rooms without the other. So they won't try to videotape us doing stuff after we got drugged doing something unknowingly, and then try to bribe us and say if
You're gonna sign the deal?
if you don't do this, if you don't do this, we gonna show this to all the entire world of you doing this. Look at you. Look at you.
It's like, ain't those your cheeks?
This is you. Wasn't you the one talking about transphobia? This is you.
Well, let me ask a interesting question. Not giving them all of the blame, but a lot of this entertainment industry is run by Jewish people. Where do they fall in this?
On what?
Just like with the way, like, think about it like this. In recent history, or recent times, very recent, we've seen this whole like thing about, Jewish folks in entertainment and movies and music and all this other stuff. And I guess to some degree, the Jewish people who have come to the defense of their Jewish heritage and culture have all kind of been like, we worked hard to get here and we did this, purposely to put ourselves in these positions and to have ownership and all these different things and whatever the case may be. But you never actually hear them say like, the way we marketed this was wrong, or, convincing women to do this to themselves is wrong, or people talk about the inner workings of the way these, like at some point, these artists, everybody can't be lying. You know what I'm saying? Like when people bring up 360 deals and, this is what they did to me. And this is what, like, you hear the examples and we know, and because we've heard from them themselves say, hey, we run these things. This is where we put ourselves. So it's kind of like you run it. This is what people are saying is happening to them. So where is your culpability in this? Because this is not the person. What this person ended up becoming isn't, what they started as. You know what I'm saying? You had a lot to do with that. It was your influence that made this girl go get her body done. It was you that told them to do that. It was you that said, hey, rap about shooting folks up or whatever, because I need stuff to sell, because I got to make money and whatever. So where are they in that? Like, even when I think of certain things, just we're talking about entertainment. I mean, if I'm not mistaken,
I don't think we'll ever get that.
we don't. I'm just saying it to kind of just put it out there to the public to think about. Like, if I'm not mistaken, if I read it correctly, Pornhub is like the biggest porn site in the world, or like the number one, whatever it is, owned by a Jewish person.
Really?
Yeah.
It's not surprising.
So like
Really?
the company, so it's one of those things that's kind of like,
Are
You
you
thought it was owned
serious?
by a black guy?
I
I mean, let's be real, right?
so here's the funny thing about it, right? So you'll usually, I can't remember the company name, but if you Google it right now, it'll pop up. It starts with an M, if I'm not mistaken. I just can't, it's just slipping my mind. So the guy's name is like Burma something. I can't remember his name. It's like, his last name starts with a B, but the company,
yeah, Bilderberg?
that might be it. That might be it. That sounds very familiar.
We were talking about that before you came home.
But So it's like it'll say, Pornhub is owned by this company. But then when you go to, well, who owns that company? Bam, there you go.
Just a bunch of subsidiaries.
Exactly.
Businessman Bernard.
Balm something? Can't remember.
Bergamer.
Yeah. With like two different spellings of the same name.
Luxembourg, based in Luxembourg.
And that sounds
Wow.
So for me, it's like at some point, granted, people can make their own decisions. Like you're not forced to do that or whatever. Like you have to, as an example, go to the doctor, agree to that, get cut up, get filled with the stuff and get the work done to you. But if you want to be a rapper or a singer or whatever the case may be, and somebody's saying, I can make you rich, but I need you to look this way. I can make you rich, but I need you to rap about this. And it's just like, well, this is destroying my community, or this is destroying young girls that are coming up, or whatever the case may be. At some point, like I got to start looking at you, who gave the 360 deal that was horrible, that put this person in a position to do whatever the case may be. Like, it can't always be the artist's fault.
That's 100% true. I think the more we talk about this, I think the more I'm inclined to really believe that there's really not as much ambiguity to what's going on as we think there is. Like, I think all the facts and all the necessary puzzle pieces are here. Like, case in point, look at that Bobby Shmurda. I don't know if you ever seen that Bobby Shmurda demo where he was performing in front of the boardroom at what record label was that? Was it RCA? Universal? One of them. But he was performing in the boardroom, and it was crazy. It was the boardroom full of white people, and he was Bobby Shmurda, just him to the track. Obviously, those people aren't familiar with Brooklyn, and you know what I'm saying, the whole rap scene. So it was honestly like watching slave owners look at their potential buy. It was like that, pretty much. But essentially, like you said, everybody can't be lying. It's only, honestly, when you look at just the history of the stories that we've gotten even up to this point, it's just like, not only that, honestly, just look at who they target when they put them on. It's nobody that already has money.
Facts.
It's very easy to manipulate somebody who has never had anything or has lived a life of poverty, or you know what I'm saying, has always been struggling. It's very easy to say, do this, and do this, and you'll get the bag. You know what I'm saying? And they're not going to really think twice, because I'm going from making $20,000 a year to getting a $30,000 advance right now. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of hard to tell anybody to not do something or make a stand, you know what I'm saying, against bread.
No, facts. It's facts. Because I look at something as simple as like security. Because I feel like when you hear a lot of these label heads talk, they'll be like, well, we've got to make money. And it's just like, nigga, y'all niggas ain't broke.
Facts.
So you're going to bring this kid out of, whatever hood he's from, send him out on tour. And it's like, hey, you've got to, cut ties with this, that, and third. So how do they cut ties? They bring whatever hood dudes they got with them, and that's their security. So if you are running this business, why don't you provide him with security? So he doesn't have to bring these hood cats with him basically, perpetuate the cycle.
Insight, yeah.
If you know that this is what they need, provide it.
Was it you that put me onto this documentary a while ago, where it's this group of guys, like political leaders?
The family.
That's what it was.
Netflix.
That's what it was.
The family. Everything. And that family, the family could actually go right back to.
That's immediately what I thought about.
Yep.
But it's a patriarchal group, right? It's all men,
yeah.
if I'm not mistaken. Yeah.
Yep. I could be wrong, but there's a level of success and power. That's more so the word that I'm looking for. Power. That I don't think that any of us can kind of fathom, because it's in the highest of high levels of government, highest of high levels of finance, of pharmaceuticals, of law. Like, it doesn't even pertain to them. You ever heard of consulates? They can come over here and they can kill somebody and not be persecuted for it because they have immunity.
Because they're from a different country or something?
Mm-hmm. They can come over here and they can get away with murder because they have immunity.
It's kind of nuts.
Oh, yeah. So, like, being a part of that type of elite group, well, I know that nobody that looks like the three of us is on that list.
Facts.
And there's a reason for that. I am the queen of the most powerful nation in the world. Have I not given everything?
That was actually really good.
See, I was just watching this the other day.
That was actually really good.
Oh, well, we went to the movies to see it again.
That's another thing with Black history, with Black Panther, the first Marvel film ever to be nominated and win an Academy Award. We out here written, directed. Come on, Ryan. Angela out here winning.
Kind of interesting too. And it could have just been something. I didn't research this. This is just like something that popped up, and I just thought about it as you said that. When I think of like the legendary white actors, and I think about like the legendary Black actors, most of the legendary Black actors don't have Oscars, but like all the white ones do.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Cause I just be going through stuff and you just be thinking like, you would assume Denzel got like 10 of them joints.
Mm-hmm.
They got like one or two.
Mm-hmm.
Now they'll get mad nominations.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously to be, touted as like Oscar winning actor or whatever, you only got to win once. But it's just like,
and you see how many roles he played that was deserving of an Oscar.
And I just thought about it like, yo, I be looking at all these white people. It's just like all like the legendary white folks. I'm like, yo, they all got Oscars and Emmys and Tonys and all this other stuff. I be like, for the Black folks, it's like, well, who else got the EGOT or whatever? It's just like, oh yeah, two of us. Or who else? It's like, yo, everybody's got a nomination, but who won? And it's just like, all right, so Halle got one, Denzel got one, like Will Smith just got one. Jamie Foxx.
And you see, he had to act a straight ass the day he got one. You know.
You know what I'm saying? It's just
he had to act like a nigga the day he got one. You know, like, come on. But
who would be the Black female equivalent to Meryl Streep?
Viola Davis.
That's what I was saying.
I would say Viola. She just got her EGOT at the Grammys. But and you can't even say, well, there's no talent out there, because we got talent up the wazoo. Yeah. So you can't even say we're not talented. Come on, we act like we want to be here every day. We walk around acting. We literally walk around every day acting.
That's facts.
Well, shout out to Bruce Willis, who got his diagnosis on his specific type of dementia, who has literally been in my life for as long as I can remember and has entertained me for as long as I can remember. And it breaks my heart because I love Bruce. Bruce is literally a staple in in my life. I don't know how many movies of his that I have. Death Wish was the movie that I recently purchased that made me go out and buy my AR-15 and my 9mm gun. It was because of him, of Death Wish. That movie was the reason why I went out and bought my guns. So Bruce Willis, I hope that they find a cure, because the type of dementia that he has, there is no cure for it right now. But I really pray that a scientist is out there right now developing a remedy and a cure for this type of dementia. Dementia sucks. We hate it. And we pray that you have a very, 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 very speedy recovery, because we love you and we know that you are strong-willed and you are so talented, and we know that you are surrounded by love. So we're sending healing vibes to you, because dementia sucks.
Corbin, my man.
Corbin. So, what's the moral of the story here, gentlemen?
The Grammys suck. Name for black people.
The Jays need some accountability.
The Jays need some accountability. Yeah.
Who's the Jays?
The Juice.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah. But who gonna hold them accountable?
We are.
Who gonna hold us accountable?
Aha.
We are.
We've been trying to hold
Okay.
ourselves accountable for decades, centuries even. Ain't been working.
We're going to hold each other accountable. We're going to try at least.
Yeah, we ran the gamut this episode. It was
Yeah.
I feel like that whole Jews owning porn kind of just sent this.
yeah. That derailed everything. That derailed everything.
Yeah. That threw me for a loop. That
Yeah.
totally threw me for a spin, because that's just like the antithesis of,
The religion?
yeah. What about these 50 rappers on this hip hop list?
That's easy. Let's stop going to Billboard for top 50 rappers list.
That I agree with wholeheartedly. Bang bang. Or as Jay-Z said at the bing bing. Bing bing.
Hove did.
Yes.
Let's stop going to Billboard, Rolling Stone. Who else?
Grammys.
Grammys. Mm-mm.
We don't need you. Or like Jay-Z said again, we don't believe you. You need more people.
Hove did.
What Kanye said, and when it all falls down, that's when he was regular Kanye. He said, you still a nigga in a coop.
Facts.
Since we quoting rappers, Q-Tip said, we don't believe you. It's we the people.
That's what he said.
All you Mexicans, you must go.
I was like, where are you going with this? But then I realized.
Muslims and gays. Boy, we hate your ways. All you black folks, you must go.
That was a good album.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't their best, but it was a good album.
Solid.
Midnight Marauders is probably my top. But yeah, stop going to Billboard.
What do you think, debaters?
Let us know in them TikTok comments.
Or those YouTube comments. Or those IG comments.
Throw out your top 5s and your top 10s. Definitely ain't going through no comments. I got top 50s.
Hell
But
no.
Because mine is Dylan.
Think about it.
Does Ja Rule belong on the list?
Yes.
Was he really a rapper though?
Yes, he is.
Is Jadakiss number 46 on the list?
Hell
If
no.
50 is on there, Ja is on there.
But 50 ain't make no singing records like that.
What?
Not in the way that Ja Rule did it. I'm saying.
Son, 50 came out dissing Ja for singing, and then all 50 did after that was sing.
I mean, he did it in 21 Questions.
Exactly.
And
I take you to the candy shop. Everything he did was singing.
You're right, but still, 50's 50. Like, come on.
Like I said, if 50 is on there, Ja is on
50
there.
is 50.
Until next time, we don't know what the topic's gonna be, but you know what we do know? I thought that was a different finger.
I was going up because it was going to be up.
Shame.
It's up.
It's gonna be up for debate.
This your D right here?
Remember we said we wasn't going to do the whatever because you said it looked like gang signs?
Banging. Yeah.
You said it looked like gang signs?
Yeah, nah. I wouldn't do
So you said...
Yeah, this solid. I'll take this. I'll take this.
Debate. Until next time. Peace.